And you're very welcome to Tap 35. Back Andy Cummins and Declan Carroll. Deck, how are you?
Great.
Since the last time I seen you.
That's good.
Don't need to ask you how you are this time.
30 seconds ago.
Very good. We were having too much fun with the preview of the weight, so we decided to split it into 2 podcasts to stop you guys from 2-hour sessions. And you know, it kind of makes sense, isn't it? We have the old course and we have the new course. And yeah, why not? A bit of double trouble. Well, we won't delay, Deck. We're going to go straight into the Pertemps Network final. And funny enough, this was a race we kind of had a grievance with this year. So just before I do put up the weights, I thought it was very strange. Obviously, you're only allowed to have first 4 home in each race.
Yeah, well, what do you make of the changes, Andy? Like, because it looks to me as if
they've made it harder
they're trying to make it harder for. I think we
Irish
qualifier that we the third qualifier, but they're trying to make it harder for Irish horses to qualify. Whereas Punchestown are putting on a series basically built around getting British horses over to take our prize money. Like it's all right. We haven't had a big weight issue, but we've the state man rule brought in. You know, that's just trainers being clever. That's just trainers getting ahead, thinking forward. You know, raising the bar. But it's a trainer from Ireland, and now the changes to Pertemps. It's getting harder and harder to qualify, and it's a bit of a mess this year, isn't it? Because with entries and qualified horses, and
completely.
I never remember being this messy. But like Punchestown are, you know, you've been following the series.
Fantastic. Like Kelso last week. Where is it? Wincanton.
First was in Huntington. Kelso last week. Wincanton today. But like, here's Punchestown trying to bring over British trained horses, you know, come over for the bit of prize money, give your owners in away day, as it's become, you know, we call them away days now since Nicky Henderson said it. You know, what is it when Irish horses travel all the time, you know?
Another grievance that I did have with the Pertemps, though, as you said, we've 3 qualifiers instead of 2, so that's the argument that you still have 12 qualifiers instead of the first 6. Obviously it's gone from first 6 to first 4, but we know we've, instead of 2 races, we've 3, so we still get our 12 qualifiers, but one was only this Sunday just gone, and in testing ground, so very, very close to the day itself. And also in Ireland, you're far more likely to have full fields. Like, there's a few races that went on at, you know, Carlisle, Kempton, places like that had single figure. You literally only have to complete the course to get qualified.
Just turn up,
you just turn up. So I think what they should do, if they want to do that, fair enough, but it should be on a pro rata basis. Like, if there's 20 runners at Leopardstown on the 28th of September or December, whatever it is, you should have 5 or 6 qualifiers. If you run in a qualifier at Exeter that has 7 or 8 runners, only maybe the first 2 should qualify. Like, it has to be fair, maybe balanced like that. But
it has to be competitive.
That's the point, Or just let them, or just have a 3-mile handicap, and you know, if you're going to play it that way. Anyway, Deck.
Like, is there an argument to be made for winners only, or the first 2, like in all the races?
Have
more of them.
Have them regularly. That's a very good point. So as a result of this qualifying scheme, as you can see, not very many Irish horses at all entered here. A couple of them only with 1 entry, but a few that mightn't even get in. Emancipator for Terence O'Brien, fantastic to see him. He could have a little team going over, which is fantastic for such a small outfit. Very, very capable as well, Terence, and there will be more on him later for sure. Farouk Delane with the 1 entry, Gaia Quill, one I'm very, very keen on, Akara Allen, who couldn't have been more of an eye catcher at entry towards the start of the season, Noble Bert, who only just won this Sunday for Emmett McNamara with his revised mark. He'll get in no problem now. Popova Deck, who I'm sure you're going to talk of, and Stars Off for Philip Rothwell, who also ran in that entry qualifier. So a lot of these that we see on the screen here, despite a small number, likelihood is you're going to see the majority of them run here. Deck, talk to us about the Pertemps. Who do you fancy, and and why?
I'm always going to like Popova, and she's always a safe enough bet, in my opinion. Like, she qualified at Punchestown. She's so tough and honest, like, you know. And it was one of the early taps, I think, where I said it, like, you know, it's easy to fall in love with the honeysuckles, but these mares you know, they're listed level. They're as honest as the day is long, and you know, they will always run their race, and they're usually never out of places, and you can get them at big prices and handicaps when they drop into handicaps. Oh, you absolutely love her. And I actually met her owner, David, the weekend, and his son came over to say hello. Absolute gentleman. I love her even more now. If she goes, she's been treated harshly now. She's got £7 off the British handicapper.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know where that's coming from. A lot of Gordons were treated harshly. I think, you know, a lot of them are got £1 and £2. Like a few of Gordons have got the 7. So I'm surprised where this is coming from, because I know Gordon trains a few of David's horses, but she's with Henry. I think she's still a safe bet to place. Like you'll probably get 6 places on the day. She won't be out of the 4-6. I'd love to see her win it if she goes, but I'm not sure she will. I think Ikera Helen's going to be tough to beat here. He's been absolutely laid out for it. He qualified in November. He's been put away. He went to Aintree to qualify. He's only won twice over hurdles, but this is Willie doing, you know.
Do you think he'll stay?
Yeah. I never. He was a juvenile hurdler, was he? I'm never obviously concerned about juvenile hurdlers staying in time, and it was the long-term plan.
Yeah.
The owners and Willie don't get it. Like Willie can play the long game. He does it often. Like we've seen him win Galway hurdles with Sharjah. Aramon win a Galway hurdle.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, Wicklow Brave won a county.
Won a county, yeah.
You know, Willie can play the long game, and this is vintage. So I do think he's going to be tough to beat. Look, Cletus Poulaw, he qualified on Sunday.
Yeah.
He was second off 130. He's 139 here. But this season he's been behind Big D, Daddy Longlegs, and Ballybourne. He won his maiden in January then. I just think, I'm not sure what he got off the Irish handicapper for finishing second.
He got £4, Deck. He was off 130 on Sunday, raised £4.
When you get 4 for not winning, and then another 5.
And then another 5, yeah.
You know, that's harsh. Gui Cool, I don't know if she's coming here. I'd heard they were waiting for Aintree.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, with Ross O'Sullivan, be it close enough.
No, I didn't. I read that.
Not even. Oh, you read that?
I read that online. I haven't heard that from. I actually seen Shane and Ace. I should have went over and asked them. But look,
I'd be surprised if she didn't come here now. I would really, really fancy her for this now. I really would. Like, she'd be one of my better ones now, I'd say.
She's ultra consistent, and she loves Leopardstown. But loves Leopardstown, yeah. Saying that she's pulled up her Aintree last year, and maybe she doesn't travel well. She's won off 123, and she was second off 129 this season, but she won 3-6 here. I'd just be slightly concerned that she might not travel well after being pulled up her Aintree. Noel Baird, who won the qualifier off 117, he got £7 at home. So he's got £5 off the British handicapper. Do you know who's going to win a big race here? Foxy Jacks, 131. Very, very talented. A little quirky.
He was my next question, because he does have a cross-country entry, a race. He won over the track earlier in the year. But obviously, the cross-country, like we had an earlier tap where Philip Rothwell went off on the cross-country. Like, he was not happy at all. And Foxy Jack is probably the horse that kind of impedes, because obviously he likes the cross-country discipline, but you're meeting the likes of Manila Indo and Galvin and Delta Work and the likes of them off levels.
Gold Cup horses.
You're just shy of Gold Cup class nowadays, but like, he's a quirky horse, as you said correctly. Like, he's done mad things at Leopardstown in the past. Like, he's ran into he's and I think he nearly ended up on the path at Nace one day as well as a novice chaser. You know, the cross country is made for horses like him. He clearly loves it, but is he being it's been taken away. Like, is the conditions of the race taken from horses like him, and as a result, I'm assuming, putting two and two together here, you think the conditions of that race might mean connections go here, is it? Possibly.
Well, he's won a cross country handicap off 149. Yeah, off 149. He's in here off 131. He qualified at Leopardstown when they backed him. He was only beaten 2 lengths off 123. He won a Midland National during the summer off 139.
Yeah,
in Irish mark. He, it was a big race he ran at Leopardstown. He looks well handicapped, and it might just be the easier option because Minella Indo took to it really, really well.
Yeah, no, he was fantastic.
That's it. I thought he was so good the last day. I thought he took to really, really well. He was so fast over his obstacles. I think he's a big chance. Stars off Philip Rothwell's horse. You said he qualified at Aintree. He actually been dropped a pound, but that's because he hasn't run since, has he?
I don't believe so. I don't believe so.
Look, it's hard to ignore the fact that Iker Allen is trained by Willie Mullins, is owned by JP McManus, and qualified and was put away. It's a long-term plan. So, history tells us they don't get it wrong that often.
Yeah, it's a good point. That's a very good point. Foxy Jocks, you have made me think about that now. Like, that's and look, he's not a straightforward horse. It is a testament to how good of a trainer Mouse Morris is, to achieve what he has achieved with a horse that is clearly a bit of a loose cannon. He's obviously worked him out. It's taken him a while to work him out, but
he's nearly killed cameramen. Like, jumping out to the right and
exactly. Yeah, no, it's a fantastic job that Mouse Morris has done with that horse. Yeah, look, I can see where you're coming from with Akara Allen. Like, it was so blatantly obvious, and they had the perfect excuse at Aintree as well. He was making headway the whole way up the straight, and then I think there was about a half a mile run in. There was a low sun that day, so it was very easy to say, oh, the last two hurdles were the reason the front ones got away from us. Like, the stars literally aligned for the horse that day. It's very, very obvious, but at a single figure price like that, and I know you make a good point as well about the juvenile hurdlers, I could see him being outstayed after the last.
Was that 3 miles that day?
It was. Yeah. But again, hurdles were omitted, so it takes more getting.
So it was probably 4 miles. Felt like 4 miles.
Probably, yeah, exactly. They get racing early, etc. I'm going to stick with Gaia Quill. I think she's in fantastic form. I take your point that she may go to Aintree and she may not travel well, but she is only 6 and she's shown progressive form.
I read that just after Leopardstown, and she's been left in here. So
yeah,
I'm not. This race is a complete mess this season, I think. So maybe maybe they're tempted to leave her in.
It could be a play spot buster. It could well be a play spot buster, but look, as I said, very few Irish entries. As we said, we had that rant, is what it is, but hopefully it's something that could be looked into, because as you said, when you take that Punchestown series into account, it's nonsense really, that there's only three qualifiers, and one of them was only last Sunday, which is absolutely crazy. But anyway, we will move on deck to our next race, which is the Trust a Trader. Would you trust a trader, deck? The plate. Sure, you're a trader yourself, aren't you? Or you're going to be?
Yeah, I'm trading now, yeah. But what sort of trading are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's bring up the plate anyway. So a couple of horses here. Obviously, a lot of horses can be in different chases, so not too many here with the single entrance. Arctic Brazil, Hereditary Rule for, I think it was John McConnell, Mars Harper, Rian, and Watch House Cross, who could be a pace angle on a course that tends to favour front runners, and he's only gotten £2. He's gotten the hang of chasing this season. Again, a testament to Henry de Bromhead's handling. Very, very competitive deck. I would probably start with Adamantly Chosen, because I don't think he was I don't think he was that busy, is the best way to put it, maybe at the Dublin Racing Festival. I'd be very interested to see if Paul Townend gets up on him, and if he is declared here. He does have an ultimate entry, but I think 3 miles stretches him. I think this would definitely be the option for him. But with that said, he's about 14, 16 to 1 chance. Who do you like for the play?
We mentioned Glengooly earlier.
We were, yeah.
And I think he comes here second in the Tyestes off 141. I think he was outstayed. He was second in the Tim Duggan, ahead of captain's nephew, Falco Blitz and Bonnie Kelly. Obviously, Falco Blitz followed up and won at Thurles. Bonnie Kelly was going to win, made a horrendous mistake at Punchestown on New Year's or sometime in January. Big chance, but also like Firm Footings. 140.
A plethora of entries there for Firm Footings. I'm pretty sure. I think he's in everything.
Yeah, I know. Look, he started back the season hurdling. He was sixth in the Martin Pipe off 134, and then he went to, it might have been Navan, a bit of an eye catcher that day. That was over this trip. His chase runs have all been over 2 miles. He's only a 6-year-old. He's one I can see improving in the spring with a step up and trip in the handicap for the first time. Safar is in here as well. I was having a good look at Safar a good few weeks ago. I mentioned him earlier when we were covering the Grand Annual. I could see him having a decent chance here as well. They're 3 I like.
Okay, yeah. No, Firm Footings, very interesting. So behind Spillans Tower, Marine National and Hunter's Yarn. So he has ran in, 3 good chases. Although last time out behind Hunter's Yarn, he was a little bit disappointing. I don't think he should have been beaten 17 lengths by himself and Pat Daru. So you have to leave that run behind. But look, he very easily couldn't he? 140, given the caliber of horse that he has been behind, it's probably a fair enough mark. And if he is stepping up in trip, plenty of handicap experience too in over hurdles too. So I can completely see where you're coming from. Glengooly, as you said, a former nap of the top, went second in the Tyestes. He's a 20 to 1 shot. I'd be interested to see who maybe rides him. Because this is the first year where Willie Mullins is, I've very rarely seen him with this many runners, potential runners in the plate. He almost never runs a horse.
I don't really remember him having a runner in the plate. Nothing of note. But this year he's got Classic Getaway, James de Burley, San Ra, hopefully not, Sharjah, Adamantly Chosen, Meeting of the Waters, Glengooly. I could keep going. He's quite a lot. So that is interesting. So your pick of the Mullins horses would be Glengooly. It would be Glengooly. I want to Sharjah, but I just think after the last day, I think it's the obvious race for Glengooly. Yeah, no,
I can see where you're coming from. And I would almost agree, but I would honestly don't think I'd be able to live myself. I'd probably fire myself over the side of the stand if I backed Glengooly and Adamantly Chosen won this race. I would honestly, I don't think I'd be consolable. I'd be really, really.
He's just cut your losses now at this stage.
I'd probably pack it up and go home, or retire to the Arkle bar for the remaining 10 races of the week. He made a few mistakes behind Hartwood. But when push came to shove, it was for lack of a better term, there was a lack of it. They were just happy to kind of let them get away. I still think this horse is blessed with an awful lot of talent, and I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they were working back from the plate this season. I'd be fascinated to know who's. What are you laughing at? Am I talking myself into a trap here?
No, go ahead.
No. Even better wouldn't it be if maybe Danny Mullins got on him and he went from the front, but there could be
they did work themselves back from the Paddy Power at Christmas, and then they were working themselves back from the race at the DRF, and now
they're working themselves
back from the play.
So they're playing 3D chess.
You know what? They're working themselves back from the Galway play.
Exactly. Okay, so yeah, I might have my adamantly chosen tinted glasses on. Fair enough. Look, it's a race. In fairness, out of all the handicaps on the card deck, this is probably the one I struggled with the most. I didn't really have anything. Now, if San Ra came here, I'd probably have to pivot, but I'd be honestly flabbergasted if he didn't run the Grand Annual. So, yeah, no, they're working themselves back from the plate. End of story. So I'll be adamantly chosen, and it'd be Glenn Gooley for yourself, would it?
Surely there's something at the Punchestown Festival they were working themselves back from as well.
There could well be. we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. All right, well, let's move on so to the Kim Muir. So for the amateur riders, a 145 bracket on this race. So there was a couple of horses that tried their luck. I think Rumwild Fred, Manila Cooner, and Jevry were all entered here and were over the 145 bracket. So obviously it means they cannot run. We will bring up the weights now, which I have here in my funky yellowy green colour. So a couple of horses here with the one entries deck. Last year's winner, Angel's Dawn, who I'm sure you'll be talking about since you put her up last year. Bottas Hava for John McConnell. Daily Present, another one that you're a big fan of deck. Flash to Tuzan. Liz Doyle mightn't be too happy about getting the £5 there. Couldn't really see where that came from really myself either. Gold Bullion, Henry de Bromhead, Indigo Breeze for Eugene O'Sullivan. That's what I'm going to talk about. I think that's a very, very interesting runner. La Malmason, who is a mare for Gavin Cromwell. She's already won at the track. Midnight Our Fred for John Flavin. He'll need every pound he can get taxed and probably get into this race. And then a plethora of ones down the bottom there. Percival Lagawa, Positive Tinker, Read to Return, Royal Thief, Stormy Judge, Street Value, Wacker Clan, and the Irish National Trial winner, Where It All Began, who's probably a very unlikely runner. He's probably Irish National bound.
Are you not going to mention the fact that Tony Martin got £21 across two horses?
We were gonna bring that up. I don't know what Tony Martin done to the handicapper, or I don't like. He'd be getting a bag of flaming shit probably at the doorstep for this one.
Yeah, but obviously, like Tony Martin has a reputation.
Yeah,
Good Time Johnny looks to be rated off his hurdle rating.
Off his hurdles mark for sure, and he won a pretend, so that would get you noticed.
But he is not as good a chaser. He can't jump well enough, and I think people are just falling into the Tony Martin trap here with thinking he's going to win this because you have to jump around his pace, and he doesn't jump well enough. And Read to Return, he was the day of the Paddy Power in November. Tony Martin was called in.
2-1-2A was breached that time, wasn't it?
Oh, look, I think it was
an amateur race.
The young lad they had up the ride because he was probably told, what was he? He's an amateur. I can't think of his name.
Very inexperienced, yeah.
Yeah, an amateur claiming 7. Probably told, they go too quick around here. Don't go too quick. Don't go too early. And all of a sudden, he found himself detached out the back of the telly and couldn't get the horse back into the race. Looked worse than it was, in my opinion.
We see worse on a weekly basis.
I felt sorry for the young lad that day. I thought
they are amateur races at the end of the day, so
exactly. If you want to pull off a stroke, like do it when you have a pair of pro hands, and you take one mishap out of the equation. I thought was very, very harsh on him. I felt sorry for him that day. But Read to Return has since he beat Keandana in Killarney. When Keandana was pulled up, and I reckon we would have beat him that day. Keandana had an effect.
If it did last rain though, didn't it as well?
It was soft. Yeah, it was cut up now. We parked in the middle of the course at the walk cross. It was bad enough now. Yeah. But we were pulled up and he won. I think we had the winner of that race now, but I don't think he's won since. But they've punted the ears off him in every race he ran in since.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
The £11 is
gas, isn't it? That's funny.
He won't run, surely.
I don't think Good Time Johnny will either. Like I think he's 6-1 favourite, 5-1 favourite. he hasn't a prayer of 142 the way he jumps. Surely.
No.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he got to the second the weekend at Fairy House behind behind a horse, I tell you, who if Intense Rafi, if Intense Rafi, well, everyone's calling him Intense Raffles. It's Intense Rafi. If he was in here now, he'd take some stopping, wouldn't he?
He wouldn't get in after what he did last week, probably.
No, he wouldn't.
He'd be carrying about 15 stone.
Well, he got the 15 pound at home anyway, so we were happy. We probably we were the only ones happy with that.
The double.
Sorry,
the double is on.
The double is on
from last week with himself and I am Maximus. But anyway,
yeah, the fact that Good Time Johnny got to the second and was beaten, then I just don't think he's good over fences. And I've said this a while now. It worried me that his earlier chase starts were well spread out. That told me that they were
schooling him and doing all sorts.
Yeah. So sorry, we haven't even started in this race.
We haven't even started. We've just been talking about 21 pounds between two horses and Intense Rafi and all sorts. But yeah,
I got to mention.
I even count. Of course,
in the farm.
Anyway, the Kim Muir deck. Where do you see the winner coming from here?
Well, look, we mentioned another way you're thinking earlier. He'd have to carry 12 down. I'm hoping he goes to the other race. Or if not, just go. If he's not going to the other race, just go straight to the Irish National.
The Irish National.
Yeah. Look, Percival Legois. Obviously, it was a tough day for us at Leopardstown on the Sunday when he came down. Then other boy Charlie came down. He was 135 that day. He's now 137 in Ireland.
Can I give a quick sorry? Do you think the handicapper he did not miss Percival Lagoa? Do you think he was almost handicapped on the assumption that he probably would have won that race, getting he got £7? I have a feeling the British handicapper thinks he would have won.
I think he'd have won as well.
Yeah, which you do, of course you do. but I do get that vibe. Like that's a bit of a
definitely
a bit of a hit now.
Yeah, it is. But he's only a 7-year-old, and this fella's riddled with potential.
Talent, yeah.
I don't know how good this horse could be. How good do you think he could be?
As of right now, he's a high-end handicapper, and that's with, suspect jumping. But he's with someone, and I've said this a lot of times with Gavin Cromwell, with the likes of Bride's Hill and Jeremy's Flame. Like, he can get horses that are not competent jumpers, and he can get them just proper. He can get them jumping like stags if you give him a year. And as you said, only a 7-year-old. He could be a graded chaser for sure, for 100%.
They won the beginners with him, doing
handstands.
They won the beginners with him at Galway, and then he fell, didn't he, after that, and then he was last in the Drin. He fell.
Yeah, he fell behind. Let's be clear about it at Cork, and then was behind the Drinmore, and then obviously
not off a yard in the Drinmore.
Just out for a skill.
Only 7. He was going to win the last day. I don't know how good this horse could be. He's 144. He should win this. If he's as good as I think he potentially could be, he should win this. But you have to remember it's a handicap, and Daily Present is in here off 127. He's had his issues.
He has had this last season, yeah.
Yeah, but he turned inside out for his handicap debut, didn't he? He won over 3 miles off 120. I know he battled to get there that day. He's on the same mark he is in Ireland, 127. I love Daily Present. When he was a novice hurdler, I thought he had a big future in front of him. He missed the year. We say he was disappointing on his return in his beginner's chases, and
he might have needed it.
And suddenly remembered how good he was. Then look, he's had his handicap start.
You should tell the story about
back from here, Andy.
Yeah, you're probably working back. You probably tell the story of when you asked Paul Nolan about him. I think it was at Leopardstown.
I did, yeah. Asked Paul Nolan about him. That was at Killarney. That
was at Killarney. This is top journalism now. That
Paul Nolan about him. Yeah, and he was like, oh yeah, no, he'd be back. And I was like, Jesus. I said, I was so excited, and I was like, I think I love him. I think a lot of him. He reminds me of latest exhibition, and he just said, no,
No.
no, no. But the mark, he's better than 127. The Percival leg was probably better than 144, but
it's a big difference.
Hill has more room. Like, I think Daily Present. What age is he now? Have you got it in front of you?
Daily Present is only 7.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he's a young horse, yeah.
They're the same age, and he's missed a year. And he was running in novice grade 1 hurdles.
Yeah.
So that mark is lethal, I think, 120. I'd imagine he gets in, because a lot of them are.
Yeah. No, it should get you in. Get you in.
I think that's very, very dangerous, that mark.
Okay, right. Well, a horse that I mentioned previously for the Ultima on the ropes. I look, if that horse just goes to Cheltenham, if they stick him on the boat, I'd convince myself that they have him right. Like, this was a very talented novice, a horse that was well up in the betting for the National Hunt Chase when he was a novice. Beaten 4 lengths by Monkfish in a beginner's chase. The year Monkfish obviously won his Broadway Novices Chase. Obviously blessed with quite a lot of talent, missed quite a lot of time. Came back, it was like a no-hoper really in the Paddy Power Chase. But I swear to God, if you go back and watch that race at Gowran, like, he was a little bit sketchy with his jumping, but like, he was going, and he was going well for a long way, and he just got tired, and I would put it down to the ground. He showed me enough to suggest that, he will be able to, win races. And if it wasn't heavy, I could see this horse going very well in a Kim Muir at a big price. The other one that I mentioned just when we were introducing the race was Indigo Gold for Eugene O'Sullivan. This horse hasn't been seen in, I think, a year. It's been quite a while. Sorry, Indigo Breeze, not Indigo Gold. He's currently a 33 to 1 shot. Again, this is not a horse you back anti-post. This is a horse you back on the day, getting as many places as possible. Because if they stick this horse on the boat, that means that they probably have him right. So they've got this horse out of Gordon Elliott's yard. If you look through his novice form, though, he's never won a chase, so he is still a novice. But getting beaten 8 lengths or so by Banbridge at Gowran, and obviously Banbridge went on to win a Grade 1. His next start was at Cheltenham in a novice's chase. Now, obviously, he had chasing experience, but he was only beaten 3/4 of a length by the Real Whacker, who obviously went on to win an RSA that year, beating Jerry Colombe. And then he was only 13 to 2 to win a handicap chase at the Dublin Racing Festival. He was well beaten by the Goffer. He didn't quite jump well that day. But off 133, if Eugene was happy enough to run him, like, they wouldn't send him over if he wasn't ready. They'd keep him at home and give him a domestic campaign. So if Indigo Breeze did get entered, I would imagine Maxine O'Sullivan would make, of it came to pass fame. So he's one I'd take a flyer on, is basically what I'm saying. I think, there's 2 horses at very, very big prices that you don't need to back now. They're not going to be on the Cheltenham circuits, or else I'd be absolutely flabbergasted if they were. There are 2 horses that you could back on the day. On the ropes case, he could be in the Ultimate, but I would probably say he runs here. But then again, I know, Deck, you've put up Percival Lagawa, and he could be absolutely anything, as could Daily Present. But they're 2 horses now that I think are coming in very much under the radar, and I think would run big races at big prices.
What prices have we got for the Fordham?
For the Fordham, right? So Indigo Breeze is trading at around 33s. Daily Present, what's he? He was 127, isn't he? Daily Present 16 to 1. On the ropes 25 to 1. and Percival Lagawa he's been mangled. He's 5-1 favourite by the looks now.
Right.
So him and Good Time Johnny heading the market. It's
Right.
unsurprising to see Percival Lagawa that short though, like based
No,
on
it is. I thought Daily Present would have been bigger.
Okay, well 16-1 though for a last time out winner, that was not too bad.
Sorry,
16-1 for a last time out winner is not too bad.
Yeah, I thought he would have been missed. Now I thought they'd have missed him, but obviously, I'm not the only one that thinks a lot of him.
No,
we obviously think more of him than his trainer.
Apparently. All right, well, moving on to the next race deck, which is going to be the County Hurdle. Now, I honestly, you can do a podcast in its own right on this race. Like, I could tip up about 10 or 12 in this. This is really, really, really difficult.
I didn't find it that, Jackie. There wasn't.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've never seen a -4 now.
Yeah, well, that's the French maths coming into it.
Yeah.
But look, we'll get to that in a minute. Right, so horses with one entry here, deck. Ascending for Henry de Bromhead. Bailey Stock, who was travelling very well in the Liffey handicap before falling with, or I think he was actually brought down by Attaboy Charlie. Bailey Stock with the one entry. Boyer Side for Gordon Elliott. We have Media Naranja for Gordon Elliott as well, and Nibiru for Tony Martin. Very consistent handicap hurdler. Risk Bell for Willie Mullins, who went close in the Boodles, I think, last year. So Scottish, I think was he runner up or third maybe in the Liffey handicap. And then we've two novices there in Westport Cove and What's Up Darling. Also with not What's Up Darling, just Westport Cove. What's Up Darling actually has a plethora of entries. The County Hurdle. So you said this isn't too difficult. I honestly, as I said, I could have put up multiple horses for this race, and I left it, but I will. There is a few that I am obviously going to talk about, but go on.
I never said it wasn't difficult.
Why is the County Hurdle easy this year? Tell me.
Look, I think there's two standing out. The first one's King of Kingsfield, and he hasn't been missed. He's favourite. He's never been out of the first three over hurdles. He's a maiden winner. He's placed in 2 Grade 1s, either side of winning his maiden, in here off 140. You know, it should suit him. He should travel into this off a really, really strong pace, and his class should get him home and just beat all it is. But is there something else amiss with him? That's the only concern. Does he have a bit of dog in him? Like, you know, is he up for the fight if he needs it up the hill? That would be the only concern. And I really like Jigaro. I mentioned him during the Coral Cup. He's a pound higher. He was second to Mystical Power, looking the winner turning in. He was 9 lengths toward the Tully Hill then at Punchestown 2 weeks ago. I think it's between them. Kingsfield is definitely the classier animal, and if he's improved and he's like maybe it was just greenness with him. If it was just greenness, I don't think anything beats him. Like placing 2 Grade 1s either side of winning the maiden, never been out of places over hurdles, in here off a pound lower than Jigaro. When you think about it, you know, with that sort of form, and look, it was Far and Glory and it was Ballybourne, the Grade 1s he was placed in. Like they're good Grade 1s, like, you know what I mean? They're good horses to be behind. It's my only worry is if there's no dogging him up the hill and he needs to get into a battle, but he could just come here swinging and just go and win. Just go and win. He could just run away from them if it's just greenness.
Yeah, no, that's a fair enough point.
But because of me concern over that, I'll dutch me bets. I'll back the two of them.
Very good. Well, look, there's so many angles I can take into the County Hurdle. It's a race. It's probably one of my favourite races of the week. I love the County Hurdle. Look, you've got Pied Piper up the top. Look, I'd be fairly surprised if Danny Gilligan didn't ride him. Take a very important £5 off. He should have won the county last year. Like Davy Russell just wasn't right. And just couldn't push him out. Like he really should have won. And you know, 156 is probably fair enough. He's been off for quite a while. He's clearly been targeted at the race. I say he'll go well. The horse directly below him, though, a horse with a lot of entries, Phil's the Dairy. I think he actually got a Martin Pipe entry, and the English handicapper gave him 150, which is a bit of a laugh. But anyway, a grade 3 winner over hurdles in July, beating Sharjah, also beating the likes of Cashback at Ballinrobe, and a few others, Saint Sam as well.
I think he's a horse who's been really well placed and picked up a lot of those races there where you might get a couple of chasers turning up in them. And, you know, I'm surprised he's not going to Leopardstown the weekend and probably just winning the grade.
Well, he won that last year. He beat Saint Sam last year. The reason I think he's going to go here, though, they've been running them in the grade 1s, and as I said, that's what Willie did with Aramon and Sharjah and Wicklow Brave, and it's what Gordon Elliott did last year with Pied Piper, and it's what Gordon Elliott has done this year with Phil's the Dairy. He's in off 150. Out of all the horses I've mentioned, he's comfortably the lowest of, rating 150. Carrying 11 stone 8, they might claim off him. Jack Kennedy's obviously going to ride King of Kingsfield. Danny Gilligan's going to ride Pied Piper. Maybe Jordan Gainford rides him. Obviously, Jordan won't claim, but they could. Gordon wouldn't be stuck for claimers.
Who rides Gigaro?
Who rides Gigaro? Oh, that's a good question. Does Gavin Cromwell have an entrant? The only reason I ask is 10-13. Keith's not doing that. Keith's not doing 10-13.
No. Keith's 11-3 or 11-4.
Yeah. Oh, does Keith ride Phil Sederi then? 11-8. Anyway, that could be. Yeah, you could even see Keith Donoghue riding this horse. Basically, what I'm saying is that horses that run in grade 1s and then come back to handicap hurdles, regardless of how competitive they are, tend to run very, very well. And this horse is 25-1. He does have a grand annual entry, but he has been handicapped similar to his hurdles rating. So I can't see him, going for that. And he's also in the champion hurdle. He's 100-1 shot for that. Look, he's been running in grade 1s all season, so you can't discount it completely. But if I was, I am a betting man, and I'd imagine he's going to go here. And I say this has been the plan for him. And at 25-1, I can't let him go unbacked. I'm going to be backing him on the day, and I'd be quite sweet in him. Going through the rest of the field, I don't even have to go that further down. There's plenty of horses here. Conor Mustard would obviously be very interesting. He's run well in the race before, but as you said, he looked like he's going to champion hurdle. Encanto Bruno, 11 stone 1. I'm not sure if Keith will be able to ride Encanto Bruno off that right weight, which means that hopefully I'd imagine Sean Flanagan's going to ride. Going further down, like as I said, Bailey Stock, who was travelling quite well in the Liffey handicap. He was right beside Attaboy Charlie. He was actually brought down by Attaboy Charlie in the Liffey. I'd imagine they'd have been 1-2 in the Liffey. I'd imagine Bailey Stock probably would have been second though. So, but he can't go ignored off 139. He's around a 12-1 shot, and there's been money for him. Wouldn't be surprised if he ran a big race as well. And the final one, and I'd be expecting a big price on him. At the moment, he's 25-1. And it's a horse who's kind of been disappointing looking, but I just think he needs good ground. Henry de Bromhead's ascending. So obviously beaten at a short price. He was 4-5 to win a maiden hurdle.
You should double him with Adamantly Chosen.
Yeah, I probably should. But the thing is, it was heavy ground. He was beaten by Helvic Dream. Only beaten 2 lengths by No Flies on him. Before that, behind It's For Me and Caldwell Potter. And then
they've
behind
probably
the
been
top,
walking back from this, have they?
Exactly. No, I just think that he's been unlucky with the horses that he's bumped into. Last time out, I would blame that on heavy ground. He is by Autad, who is an Irish 2000 Guineas winner. I just don't think he handles heavy ground, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a much improved performance if he got good ground. It would be very much ground dependent. Like, I'd want to hear it secret. If there was good in the description, I'd be having a little saver on him because he will run a big race. But the main one for me, I know I've mentioned a lot of horses there, Deck. It would definitely be Phil's the Dairy up the top there, 25-1. I'd be quite sweet on him now, by the way he was campaigned. And then for you, you're sticking with the favourite, are you?
I like King Kingsfield and Gigaro. I 140 placing 2 grade 1s. Clearly a horse with loads of ability, just has an issue. But if it's been greenness, he's just gonna arrive here and win this.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fair enough. So King of Kingsfield, Gigaro, and Phil Zederi. So it sounds like Gordon Elliott has a good chance of winning the county hurdle anyway. Yeah. Long story short is what we've got to there. Right, so last but certainly not least,
it's like it's like it was put last for us, isn't it?
It was almost done on purpose. We are going to move on to the Martin Pipe conditional jockeys handicap hurdle. Though apologies for how difficult this may be to read. As you can imagine, not very many horses with just one entry for a race like the Martin Pipe, because a lot of them will be in the Coral Cup. Some would even have options over the shorter distance, county hurdle, etc. So the only horses with the one entry here, Deck, 5-1-5 for King Collins. As I just tried to read this, Melmond Road, a mare for Gordon Elliott. Waterford Whispers for Henry de Bromhead. Your Honour for James Nash as well. So not too many at all. Let's hope that we're not praying that what I'm assuming the nap of the tap is. Hopefully we're not praying that this thing needs to win to get us out for the week. But the Martin Pipe 145, I'm going to be sweating till 5:30 on the Friday because this is one that I strongly fancy. And anyone that has watched the podcast from its inception, and not even the inception, just from 3 or 4 weeks ago, we've mentioned this horse about once a week, Deck.
We put him up when he won his maiden at Galway.
We did, yes. So look, I'll let you talk about it. I'm assuming
no. You can take this one away.
All right, guys. Well, the horse is Waterford Whisper, as you probably know. A good maiden hurdle winner at Galway. And there was a certain Attaboy Charlie, I think, followed him home that day.
Come here, Attaboy Charlie, Folly Master, who won at Punchestown recently. Favourite tomorrow by Clonmel. Saplan Pourmois, who probably would have won at Gowran only for he was a non-runner.
Colin Murphy,
There's winners in there behind them.
Yeah, and it gets better as well, because it's not just his debut form that was stacking up. It was basically anywhere that he went. I think he went then to Fairy House, and that race, like as we said in the earlier tap there, that was a race that it's almost like the handicapper targeted it.
Yeah.
He obviously fancied that was strong form. Waterford Whispers, if you do go back and watch that race, like Mark Welch brought this horse to the inside, tried to let the leaders go, brought him then back to the outside, thought he was going to finish a nice second or third, but I swear to God, Waterford Whispers took the final hurdle like it was Hurricane Fly in the Irish champion hurdle. Like he was brilliant over, and suddenly Mark had no choice. He just had to go and win the race.
I tell you what, Andy, I put up Answer the Cave that day, and I know he was 12 stone minus. John Chinnock was taking off 7
minus the 7,
But I remember thinking, watching that, he's beat. I have him beat, you know, and I wasn't really worried about anything else. And that was on the bend, and he hadn't come off the bridle. He was being asked to get out of the pocket he was in. Boy, Jesus, did he come out of it? And you're right, like the way he jumped, he was like a cat over the last.
He won. So quick. It was all about that Ferry House race. He won that like a proper horse. And Answer the Cave has not done much wrong to
Answer the Cave gave weight at Naas a few weeks ago. And he gave weight to Captain Cody, who looks like a good horse with Willie Mullins, you know.
And that was a race
about the champion bumper form. He ran the champion bumper. He won. He bolted up on his hurdle debut, and then he gave him weight, and he laughed at him.
Yeah, destroyed them. And that was a race that Naas race, a race that Martin Brassel used in the past to win the Bering Bingham with City Island. So strong, usually a decent enough race. So Answer the Cave second that day, obviously, was carrying 12 stone minus John Shinnick 7. So there's only £3 between them, but I would never usually include the jockey claim. Stormy Judge obviously went back fencing. He was a good fourth. Western Fold, obviously, Deck mentioned him earlier. Fancied him for the Coral Cup. He was a well-beaten fifth that day. Okay, it just looks like a strong race, and I think he was beaten by the pace of the race. Champagne Admiral then beat Waterford Whispers at Leopardstown, but it was a very, like, they crawled that day. They barely went a yard. And I think he was just undone by what I would say was a brilliant front running ride from Mikey O'Sullivan on Champagne Admiral. If you want to go through that form, Yates Star, he followed that up with an excellent run in the 3 mile handicap hurdle at the Dublin Racing Festival. He was a 22 to 1 third. I think Lyndon Arden for Willie Mullins, I think he's won since. And obviously Western Fold, who was in that race, was still travelling well at the time, was very impressive at Down Royal. Like, I just think this horse could be a 140s odd hurdler, and I really fancy him. And the £6 doesn't bother me. The handicapper rates the form, we rate the form, we said it. Waterford Whispers for me, without a shadow of a doubt. I'd really like him here.
Well, his biggest danger is still £4 ahead of him, or still £4 higher than him.
Answer the Cave, yeah. Take it away.
Yeah, look, Answer the Cave. He is an 8-year-old, but he was obviously, tricky and took a bit of time.
Yeah.
I said before, he wouldn't have been outplacing the Nathaniel Lacey, and
probably wouldn't have been at all. Yeah,
I don't think he'd have been outplaced at all in that race. I think he well deserved to take his chance there. He's 1 over 2 miles. He stays further. He is a massive danger to him, but I think that the handicappers probably made sure that Waterford Whispers beats him again. I do think Liz Nagar Fortune is, well, look, I suppose most people listening to us don't know if any new listeners, but we did ask people to ask for the straight TriCast Waterford Whispers to beat Liz Nagar Fortune. He was second to Reed and Tommy Wrong for winning the maiden quite impressively. I think he's going to like this test, as will Quaid of Bourbon. We said in the last podcast that he's 2 from 2 in Ireland. He stays well. There's nothing sexy about him. He's a real Martin Pipe horse to me, more than a Coral Cup horse. But look, we can't go back on it now.
No, we're balls deep at this rate.
Look, I genuinely can see that as the straight forecast anyway. Waterford Whispers to beat Answer the Cave. I'm really confident of that. They're both going here, and the form is rock solid. Answer the Cave is he's a really good horse, but Waterford Whispers has his measure, particularly off, at the weights. He definitely has.
Who do you think Waterford Whispers be ridden by?
I don't know. Like, would Aidan Kelly take the ride, or has he become? Is he learning a very other important part of the trade at the moment? Aidan Kelly been learning. I won't say what it is, but he's been learning a very important part of the trade all season.
He's been riding a lot for the green and gold. Obviously, he rode a Rocco last year. He did. I would imagine. I think. Look, he's either gonna ride this lad, or he's gonna ride Sam Majest for Willie Mullins, who is now the 4 to 1 favourite. And I could have mud on my face by the end of this, but I think this is lazy. Look, there was 10 lengths back to a horse that was rated 107 that day at Limerick. Noble Yates,
and Noble Yates is
a stayer of all stayers.
Is a really hard horse to assess, because he's obviously a good horse, but he's very lazy and very one-paced. But he will stay forever. And we kind of joked about it before the hurdle race that he won. What was it? The Cleve. Like, we said he could be. I'd say it gets to the stage, whoever's riding him in every race is like, will I pull him up? And then the others start to slow down in front of you, and he just keeps going at the same pace. And like, that's why he's not a Gold Cup horse, is because he won't go to gallop, but he will. If you don't pull him up, he will keep going. Like, how many national winners come from where
come back? Yeah.
You know, many came from
where he came from. Yeah,
you know, they don't. In a
numbers.
modern national, you have to be handy.
Hmm.
Like you certainly have to be a lot handier than him. He was dead last. They don't
Number
come
6
from
Valverde is about the only other one, wasn't it?
who?
He number 6 Valverde was the only other. Like he was well off the pace, but none of the others really were. I can't think of any.
You're going back 20 years.
You're going back 20 years, yeah.
Yeah, you know, like he's very one paced, so he's so hard to assess. But as you said, what was the horse and third rated?
For
in the Limerick race.
Oh, sorry, 107.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Sam Majestic at all. I think he's the yeah, as you did say, we could end up with egg on our faces, but there's much stronger favourites out there than
exactly. Even taken, like, I know you say, oh well, he's gone and won, like the runner-up's gone and won the Cleve, but as I said, if my life depended on an English staying hurdler to run to 150 tomorrow, I wouldn't be writing this podcast. I'd be saying goodbye to my loved ones and probably writing my will, because I wouldn't be worried. I actually genuinely not even sure there was a staying hurdler in the UK rated 150 right now.
It was Paisley Park who we just outstayed, wasn't it? And like we said in another podcast, you'd be disappointed. No disrespect to the horse, and it's brilliant to see him turning up and doing what he's doing, but surely, like, he's so exposed at this stage. Surely there's something progressive past him, and there's not in Britain. Like, you know, while it's beautiful and it's lovely, and like there's another side to it where it's not vintage either. Like, you know, it's you know, he should be getting beat. There should be something progressing past him at a good rate, like, but there's not. So I think, what's his name? Sam Majest?
Yeah, Sam Majest,
Sam Majest, yeah. No, I think he's one of the poorest favourites of the week.
Yeah, I would agree. So look, we're quite unanimous there. Obviously Answer the Cave and Lisnicar Fortune need a lot of respect. And even just going through the rest of them, look, is there even a point?
Nah, there's no point. We have the forecast.
We have the winner. Yeah.
Look, we have do we have the TriCast? Well, Lisnicar Fortune or Quita Bourbon.
Well, there it is. Not by the top. You can screenshot this. It is Waterford Whispers. We've been, look, anybody that's
look, he's been latched on to now. There's a lot of people talking about him now, but you know, we were talking about him last October. Yeah,
but that's it. But look, a few people from a couple of weeks ago, there might be a couple of listeners that might be on 20-25 to 1.
Yeah.
Admittedly, I did say there's no point until we see the entries and see the weights. And I know we've seen the entries and I know we've seen the weights, and this lad is getting £6, but I wouldn't be telling you to back a horse that I didn't think would get into the Martin Pipe. I envisioned that this horse would get a fair whack, and he has, and it doesn't bother me in the slightest. Because he needs it to get into the race. And as I said, I think we're dealing with a hurdler here that very, very easily minimum is a low 140 sort at the moment of 133. And when he goes chasing, I think he'll be even better. So I will leave it at that. It's Waterford Whispers deck, with your agreement as well. It's going to be the nap of the, I think it's
the best way to end the show, I think.
The best way to end the show, yeah, absolutely, 100%. It's poetic. Look, I did promise you guys a horse for Sunday, which I did not add to the previous Tap on Deck cover Clonmel very quickly. So I will add it here just at the very, very end. Anybody as well that's heard of it, we've got a few messages too, but anybody that's listened to a few previous taps, we're going to Sunday. We're going at 4:00 at Leopardstown. He's got his entry as predicted. Barry Connell's Snake Oil. We can back him and get a few quid in for Cheltenham. Nothing special about this horse, really. Like, it's not hard to find. He's just been a horse that's been readily outpaced at the business end of two mile chases, one behind the Folks Tiara. He probably would have been fourth that day if Pat Drew stayed in its feet. And then the last day, he actually was short of room after the last. He just didn't have the pace to go with Pat's Choice and others. At Naas, he's stepping up to 2 mile 5. I just think he wins. Stepping up to a trip that he's going to be comfortable at. A few interesting entries in this race. Digby off 128. Grandero Bello is just about to mention. Been nearly a year off the track. Haven't seen him since Punchestown. Great to see him back. A horse that I have a hell of a lot of time for, and I think is a very, very good chaser. But he'd want to be very well handicapped to win this first time up after what you can only assume has been an issue. That we haven't seen him for this long. So Snake Oil on Sunday, Leopardstown 4:00. An extra little bet there. But Deck, thanks very much for sticking with us. 2 podcasts here. That was a lot of fun. And hopefully we found a good few winners now for Cheltenham. And we'll be back to the domestic stuff very soon, I hope.
We will. Of course we will. Of course we will. 100%. Plenty more to come at home. You know, obviously we're building up to the festival now. But we have the Leinster National beforehand.
Yeah.
Next Sunday week. And then we'll be building up the Fairy House and then Punchestown.
Yeah, no, can't wait. And we might try and organise a few more special guests along the way, sure.
Yeah,
so why not?
Definitely.
Yeah, but thank you very much, guys. Just keep listening, commenting, engaging with us, subscribing on YouTube, Spotify, following us on Twitter/X. It's all very much appreciated. We'll keep doing it. We'll keep supplying the winners. You guys just keep following. But thank you very much, guys. That was Tap 35, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.